Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chain. Can't control me. I got the power.
Good Wednesday evening. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Andy Kidd.
I'm Dauber. What's happening, man?
Rocking and rolling, man. Tennessee, 3 in a row, 78-71. Things looked a little bleak in the first half, but you know what? I think the all-knowing Talkin VAWLS duo of the Indy Kid and Dauber may have the pulse of this team a little bit. What happened when they got down? They go to a small lineup, and what happened? I think the plus-minus difference was substantial at that point. We've been talking about it a long time. Florida was just faster, quicker, and hats off to Rick Barnes. He adjusted. He didn't just keep going with the same old, same old. He adjusted, went to that small lineup, and things really changed. And they pulled it close in the first half, went back to their kind of normal lineup. Florida got back up around 10. Come out of the second half. Of course, you had Chandler getting foul trouble. That contributed to it. But then when they went back small again, I mean, the rest speaks for itself. Thoughts on the game?
Well, I got to watch early and then missed a big chunk of the end of the first half and then the very beginning of the second half. And then I caught probably the last 12 minutes of the game. So I think I cut out all the bad stuff because it was back and forth. When I stopped watching, had my oldest at her softball practice, and I was in the batting cage throwing some BP. So had my AirPods in, listening, and I was keeping pace with it. But then when we went to the big area and started doing some infield stuff, I had to take those out and make sure I didn't get hit in the head with a ball.
So we know now it was your fault then that it was even that close of a game. So thanks a lot. I said all-knowing. We'll just take you off that all-knowing duo. Now you're the problem.
Hey, when I was watching, it was close. When I quit watching or listening, it apparently got away.
There you go.
So, man, I tell you what, the end of the game there felt like it was never going to end, and it felt like we were doing everything possible to try to let it slip away. You know, and Florida fans are going to complain. Oh, the missed call. You know what? So what? We've had to deal with the missed call from Jabbar Gaffney just touching the ball in the end zone. And I'll give credit to my friend. She sent that in a text during that. That was a bad call, but it happens. And I've got no sympathy because the Jabbar Gaffney call will go down in history as a horrible missed call that I will never have my mind changed about.
No, he's still not caught that pass.
So
still hasn't caught it to this day, but I would even go this route on it. Some of you guys in the chat chime in if you remember this. In the first half, I can't remember the Florida player's name. He dragged his feet or foot bigger than day. No call on it. Should have been Tennessee going the other way. They let it play out. Florida hit a 3. Shouldn't have had that 3. So, yes, that should have been a foul on Tennessee. I have no beef. Obviously it worked out for Tennessee, but yes, if they would have called that, I would have had no problem with it. But sometimes things have a funny way of working themselves out. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't a foul. It was. But at the same time, when you drag your foot or your feet, that is a travel. Always has been, always will be, unless they just throw travel rules out the door, which I think they're about out it anyway. But
hey, something I didn't realize: Florida has not won in Knoxville since 2014.
I know, interesting. So I wasn't sure on that, but I know that does make 7 out of 8.
7 out of 8.
Tennessee's beat Florida. And Tennessee has always had a lot of good luck with Florida. Even when Donovan had those national championship teams, that's when Pearl was there. Tennessee had their number.
I remember being at a game when Florida came in ranked, I think, number 4. And Tennessee, I think, laid it to them. I remember rushing the court as a student for that game. But, good win. Good to protect the home court, pick up a win. Like you said, three in a row. So building some momentum, starting to play a little bit better. We kind of talked about it the other night. I think this team is sort of in their comfort zone in Thompson Bowling. They seem to shoot the ball a little bit better. At least offensively, they seem to be able to get it going a little bit better at home. Shot 45, almost 46% from 3. Foul shots, 15 to 16.
17 out of 18.
Or 17 and 18. Yeah, I missed those last two. So not 95%. That's what good teams do. That's what you close out games at the foul line, especially those tight games like it got down to being.
Yeah, and like I said, they come down the stretch and just reviewing the points of that Vescovy, 23 points. This guy is, and I've had people say, well, I don't know that he's the best player on the team. Yeah, I don't know it either. I don't know that he's the – let me rephrase. Yes, I know he is the best player on the team. Is he the most talented? He's – maybe not.
He's the most consistent.
He's your guy.
He is the most consistent.
The guy for Tennessee. And again tonight, who does it for him? Vescovy, 23. Kennedy Chandler, 17. 5 assists. 6 of 6 from the free throw line for him, and he had struggled in that area lately. Good night for him there. His biggest thing, man, he's got to avoid getting in foul trouble. He picked up that third foul, at the end of the first half? So he had to sit for a bit. But, he was big. I would just like with him, his finishing. I think that's got to be able to finish a little better than that. But still yet, good night for him. This just reminded me. John Hill, I missed your super chat. I do apologize here. I was too busy gloating, I guess. But pulled it out. Santiago is a baller. Amen, brother. Amen. He guy can play. Now, he's going to have his, he's good for his couple head scratchers per game. But, when it boils down to it, this guy is going to get the job done. He's the most consistent player on the team. And then hats off to Ziegler. Some big moments for him tonight. 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 out of 5 from three-point land. 26 minutes for him. Josiah Jordan James, this is the type of Josiah Jordan James game that Tennessee needs. 9 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Needs to get rid of those 4 turnovers, but still yet filled up the stat sheet. I don't really like that he's taken 5 3-pointers. That's not his game, but the 9, 8, and 4, that's his game. That's what Tennessee needs. And again, we've stressed it all year. I love the lineup when he's at the 4. I think that's his natural position. Yeah, he can hit a 3 occasionally. I think he's a 2 to 3 max shot per game 3-point shooter, or should be. And
he should be your guy driving to the basket, cutting to the basket, moving without the ball towards the basket. But yeah, rebounding. How about this? You know who had the second most rebounds tonight?
Ziegler, right?
Yeah.
6 rebounds. You had James with 9. Ziegler with 6. Ziegler had a block too. That was pretty impressive in the first half. So, I mean, that was pretty cool. That fired people up as well. Let's see. Tucker White, 94. Thank you for the $5. A victory over Florida is always a good day. Now, if we could just do it in the massive building a few hundred yards from the Tommy Bowl. It's coming this year. 2022. It's going to happen. Don't know what that magic potion is, but it just feels like it. It just feels like the year to do it. And this was one of those tonight for a while, too. It just seemed like Tennessee came out flat. Hats off. I'm going to give Barnes credit. I think he adjusted. He's seen some stuff that wasn't working. Euros, man, he's got to calm it down. He got a technical tonight. He's been getting a little chippy the last couple games. I love it. I love the attitude. But at the same time, man, there's got to be a little bit of calm it down there as well. And
he's like the enforcer in hockey. Just bring him off the bench to clean it up, man.
Yeah, he got kind of a cheap tech there in the first half. I don't know if it's a technical, but I mean, I get why they called it. And he was getting a little chippy. I think he'd maybe gotten away for a little bit of something before that. I don't know that he came back in after that. If he did, it was minimal. I thought Fulkerson did some good things tonight. I thought his minutes were productive. He had 9 points, 2 rebounds, but he had 3 blocks, only 1 turnover. So I thought his minutes were efficient. His efficiency rating was 11. So that was, that was 5th on the team, but their efficiency ratings were good tonight.
Had a big turnaround where he got fouled and went to the line. I think that was when it was real tight, and he kind of gave him some cushion. I think pushed it up to 3 or 2 possession game maybe.
Yeah, and I just feel like it. Yeah, this was funny. I didn't realize this beforehand, but that was actually Euro's high school teammate that he pushed, that he got the technical. I thought that was kind of funny because I didn't realize that. They played together in Hamilton Heights, Chattanooga. So it's kind of a little funny.
I'd read that he was playing against a teammate, but I didn't know that's who he pushed.
I can answer this real. I'm going to give instead of just giving a simple answer, I'm going to give maybe a couple sentence honest answer. Love John Fulkerson. He's going to go down as one of our favorite Vols ever. Nope. I think his career is over after this year. And it stinks. I mean, I wish him luck. I hope it happens. I just can't see it. And maybe he surprises us all. But I hate to say it. Don't want to sound negative or anything. I just don't see it happening on it. I think comparing guys over the years, I think Kyle Alexander was much more of an NBA prospect. And I know he was going 2-way. I'm not sure if he's up now or not. I'm thinking he's in the G League or maybe he's even overseas. But Kyle Alexander had more of an NBA body than Fulkerson. And maybe Fulkerson tries to keep playing, but I mean, as long as he's been in school down there, he's probably got half the degrees in the catalog, doesn't he? So,
I'll agree with you. I don't know that Fulke goes to the NBA. Could he still play professional basketball? Absolutely. I saw a little write-up on, or maybe it's a tweet this week. Former Vol Trey Golden is playing in China right now, and like leading the league. He scored 39 or 49 points the other night, something ridiculous like that.
I'm drawing a blank on Trey Golden.
Yeah, he played at Tennessee 2010 to 2013, then transferred to Georgia Tech.
Okay. I still can't place him, but I do remember somebody transferring at that point. Playing in Japan, eh?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. That's a name I had forgotten about, actually. So that would have been while Pearl was there. Is that right?
10,
or was
10,
it Konzo? Some of them were saying Konzo.
10 to 13, yeah, Konzo.
Would have been both of them. 10, what? Let's see, the Pearl leave.
Man, throw me on the spot.
Yeah, I've thrown myself on the spot there. It was early 2010s, I think.
Let's see.
Trey Golden. Yeah, okay, I remember now. I don't remember that he did much for Tennessee, but cool. I mean, that's a cool story that he's doing well there. Played around that time. Let's see here. Kind of back to tonight's game. I think Tennessee they come out flat, and it just wasn't. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just a case they weren't jiving or what, but I felt Florida was much quicker, and Tennessee was playing full court press, which I'm a fan of full court press, but Florida was wearing them out on that. And again, I've said it twice, and I'll say it a third time. Hats off to Rick Barnes for recognizing that Florida was faster, and he adjusted to it. And now I did make the I know it was 23-10, and it was a freaking crap show at the time. And something you and I have talked about, and I was sitting there, I was like, not verbatim here, but I was like, yeah, Rick, things are just going awesome right now. Let's just keep letting this play out. Let's don't do anything about it. Let's let it play out here. And then I think they maybe got a couple free throws and eventually a timeout. And then he adjusted. He went to the lineup with James at the 4, and then that's when they made a run at it. But I'm just shaking my head, man. It's like, what the hell is it going to take to call a timeout right here? And it was – the wheels were almost off, I felt like, at that point, because there were turnovers galore. They weren't defending.
Did the offense go stagnant?
Oh, yeah.
Or were they just not hitting shots?
It was pretty stagnant, I felt like. It was because they went a few minutes out scoring. I just felt there were minimal movement. They were moving around the lane and out. There wasn't much. There wasn't much creativity. And I think maybe he saw that and adjusted. And I felt things opened up more when they went to it. Powell played more, but he only had 3 points. And I don't know, one complaint I have at times is there were a couple possessions that seemed like nobody wanted to take a shot. It was just, and they had multiple open looks and just kept passing them up, which would then result in a turnover. And it's like, man, somebody's got to shoot it when you get a chance. Here.
Well, that's looking at the game stats. We lost the turnover battle 16-13. So I assume the majority of those were in the middle of that big run that Florida had.
Well, when we talked about it earlier too, about the end of the game, I mean, they had some turnovers that were big late too.
Oh yeah. Let Florida get right back in it.
Yeah. Cause I thought they had it wrapped up, and then here's a turnover. Here's another one. And it's down to Florida got it to 3. And then they kind of took care of business from there, but a little sloppy.
Did a good job on the glass, out-rebounded Florida by 11, 35-24 edge. So,
I mean, if you look at these stats, and they end up 78-71, Tennessee was 45.5%, Florida was 43.3% from the field. Tennessee 45.8% from three-point range, Florida 30.3%. Tennessee 17 out of 18, 95% from line, Florida 9 out of 9. Rebounds 35-24, assists 22-15 in favor of Tennessee. 5 blocks to 3. Florida did have them 9 steals to 6, but then you've got turnovers 16 to 13. Me looking at that stat line, if I would not see a score, I would guess that that's easily a double-figure win.
Could have been. Red Rum Man throws out a good point right here. Florida didn't have their starting center or their backup, and maybe another guy didn't play tonight as well. And it wasn't, like you just said, a double-digit win. So that is something to look at and consider. And we've talked about it. This team, I really think they play to the level of their opponent.
I was going to say that. You've said it numerous times, and it's case in point.
It should have been, you got a team without their leading scorer, their big man, their backup to him not even playing. So you'd think on a night like that, you should have some production from your guys down low.
Yep.
And not the case.
No, they had to shift gears on that.
Yeah.
I mean, they shifted gears. I mean, look at the minutes on utsports.com. Fulke had 18, Euros 9, Huntley Hatfield 4, and Olivier Kama 21. So he paced them on minutes, but he had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. But yeah, you would think with that's where their advantage comes. This is not a good low post team. It's just not. And, if these teams were Miss America candidates, Tennessee's not going to be in the top of the beautiful category. They don't play that way. They're not going to win a Miss America pageant, so to speak, with their play. And, I totally agree. I was going to say what you said all. They play to their competition. I mean, they had a good win against LSU the other night, which I felt they handled that game for the most part. And then this was reminiscent of Ole Miss, where not as bad because they had to go to overtime for that one. But there were times that reminded me of it as well. I did feel confident they could come back, but still yet, had they not adjusted, I don't know if they would come back if he would have went with trying to stick with the 2-post lineup.
I think this team's identity is they're going to be scrappy and play tough defense. And if they can hit some shots on offense, that defense will keep them in the game. And you just hope that offensively they score enough points.
That's this team's game. That is this team's game. I mean, it's I think the scoreboard lighting up that came earlier in the season, that's the thing of the past right now, and it's going to be grinded out games. This is just a team that, again, they're not going to win a beauty pageant. They're going to play gritty basketball. They're going to play defense. Like you said, man, you got to hope they're hitting just enough to win. And if there's ever a night where Vescovy is off and gets shut down, this team's in trouble. Big trouble right there. It's a pretty good stat. According to Rucker, Rick Barnes now 27-11 against Kentucky, Vandy, and Florida. Pretty good stuff right there. I know he's had he's had about as much success as we've seen against Kentucky.
Yeah.
With it.
Especially up there. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a couple weeks ago was not pretty, and we got ran out of the gym, but they weren't going to lose to very many teams in the country the night we played them, shooting as well as they did.
No, and I've seen people saying, "Oh, that proved Kentucky's the best team." No, they're not. They're good.
On that night,
I mean, they gave Auburn a good game, but
on that night, yes.
Yeah, in Rupp Arena, playing like that, yeah, you're not going to touch them.
Yeah,
on that night. But I do think, I hope tonight kind of gave them confidence that they can go to that smaller lineup and maybe combat Kentucky a little bit. I think they would have had more success against them because, I mean, part of that was their carelessness with the ball. And that led to, like we've discussed, 29-0 and fast break points that night. Maybe you could combat that with a smaller lineup. You and I, have we not been on that all year long?
Yeah.
The North Carolina game, what was that lineup that run North Carolina out of the building? Went small and ran them out. Now, has it worked every single time? No. I think they tried. I think the Texas Tech game, they went that. But
I mean, we'll get the answer in what, 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, February 15th. So yeah, we sure will. Oh. And at this point, I think a win's a win. You take it and you get out with it. I don't know that we're going to see a game from this team. I just don't think this team is made to where you're going to say, man, they were on tonight. That's the team we're waiting on. They are what they are at this point, and they're going to be a tournament team. I'm going to still maintain I don't think they're a team set up to go deep. Maybe they are. Maybe, people saying, well, maybe if they get the right matchup.
That's what I was going to say. It all depends on the draw. You look at, that game against Purdue. That didn't favor Tennessee. It is what it is. It's all going to come down to, first of all, they've got to handle business and play well to end the season. I think what did we talk about last week? Like the next 8 games, there are a handful of winnable games. And that was starting after the LSU game, I believe.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of winnable games on this schedule right now, and it's let's see if we look at it. Let me pull it up here real quick.
Yeah, Texas Saturday, A&M, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Vandy, Kentucky, Arkansas, Missouri, Auburn, Georgia, and Arkansas.
I mean, just off the top of my head, they got Florida. Texas will be a tough game. I think there will be some emotion in that, or at least initially. Now it may calm down as the game goes on. A&M coming to Knoxville. I'm sorry, you don't let A&M come to Knoxville and beat you. At South Carolina sucks. And I'm going to, knowing the luck, I'll go up and jinx them and they'll lose with me sitting there. But I'll be at that game for sure. Tennessee should go up there and win that game. Now, is it going to be pretty? I'm not counting on it. I'm counting on, a word or two flying out of my mouth during the time. But at Mississippi State, that'll be a tough game.
Yeah.
Vandy at home. Tennessee's better than Vandy. Kentucky at home. That's going to be tough, but they can win that game. But how do they adjust from last time? You got to, it's one of those things. It's like that inning in softball. You start off a softball game, the team puts 10 on you. You're like, man, that's got to be as bad as it's going to get. It's kind of like that Kentucky game. If they're, I can't imagine them coming in and shooting that well again. Maybe they do, but at Arkansas, it's going to be a tough game. At Missouri, it's on the road. They're a scrappy team too. So that's going to be, probably going to be a candidate for boring game of the year with those two trying to defense it out. Auburn at home, that's going to be a task. Auburn's got a legit shot to win it this year. At Georgia, no excuse to go down to Georgia and lose that game, and they've had trouble in that.
What is Stegman Coliseum? We do not so. Well there.
No, and then Arkansas at home.
We've had good teams go to Georgia and find a way to not come out of there with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm even thinking the Grant and Schofield team went down there and lost possibly. Yeah. And I may be wrong, but yeah, there's been some head scratchers down there. That's one of those kind of house of horrors.
Yeah,
for Tennessee, just like Alabama's rat hole gym is too. It's it's kind of the same thing. But I feel that's a very favorable schedule, and maybe that puts Tennessee, if they win those games, let's say if they lose 3 going down, I mean, there's potential of 5 losses there, I believe. But let's say if they lose 3 or 4, I think that will keep them in that 4 to 6 range for the tournament. And I've said it, man. I would rather them be a 6 seed than a 4 or a 5. Historically, you look at when Tennessee has had success, it's been in that 6-11 side of the bracket. Things have just worked out for them there, whether it's, they won their first round and they beat Ohio State to get to the Elite 8, whether it's when they were the 11, they were the play-in, they beat UMass, somebody upset Duke and put them out, and then Tennessee got that. That part has always been better to them. I think they get in that category. They may be able to get a matchup to win a couple games with it. For some, I don't get it why an 11 is easier for them than a 13 or a 12, but Tennessee, historical-wise, that's worked out for them better.
Maybe the whole playing to the level of your opponent.
Hey, it's valid. It's valid, man. Actually, I think the year they got wasn't Ohio State the 2 seed when they beat them to get to the Elite 8. Because if they would have been the 3, they would have gotten them in the second round. So it's not possible for them to play the 3 in the Sweet 16. So I'm pretty sure Ohio State was the 2. I mean, again, it's going to be matchups. The good thing about it is, since Tennessee's in the SEC, they're not going to be in the same bracket as Auburn or Kentucky, at least not in the same half.
Yeah.
Not unless, the SEC puts 3/4 of the conference in, which they're not going to. So I think this conference is majorly underrated this year. It always is, especially the last couple of years. There's some strong teams, and I fully expect when they get to the tournament that SEC is going to make a run. Kind of like the ACC used to. I feel the SEC is better than the ACC right now in basketball. I mean, obviously you got Duke and Auburn. That would be a fun matchup. But besides that, I feel the SEC is better than the ACC right now. Put you on the spot, eh?
Yeah, I was looking at some season totals. Sorry, I was a little distracted.
Yeah, I'll stick. Yep, I'll take 6 seed over 5. Don't want that. And again, that 5 game, man, it always seems like there's a 12 seed coming in red hot, whether it's a mid-major who's had a big year or it's a team like Oregon State who gets hot late, and then they're coming in on a roll.
You look at those teams, and they've typically had to, play their way in or win their conference tournament to get in, or they're playing really good basketball to head into March. So, and that's really that's what we want this team to do is peak at the right time.
Yeah, and that's what we said the whole time. I mean, I think I said on video it does. I made the error. I said it didn't matter what you did in January; it only matters in August. Well, August is a little ways away. I'm not talking football, so it doesn't matter what you're doing on January 26th. It matters come March, come April, and but I mean, this team's won 3 in a row, and again, it's not always pretty. Finding a way to get it done goes a long way, though. And, I mean, you look at this team's schedule, just looking over it. We talked about it the whole year. They did not shy away from a tough schedule. Obviously, the conference schedule is what it is, but even out of conference, it's good for them. I mean, that's what you have to do.
That's, yeah, we said it in the preseason when we looked at this team and looked at the schedule, said it was a tough schedule, but it really had some, games against teams that are going to show you what you have and then prepare you for the type of basketball you hope to be playing in March. Because face it, that's the caliber teams you're going to be playing.
It is, and hopefully it's they won a couple. What they win 1 or 2 games in the SEC tournament last year. It kind of felt like things were turning. They gave Alabama a good game, and then, I mean, Oregon just left them sitting. Yeah. Oregon State. I mean, it was just. But I think the LSU game was big for them. And it's funny talking about that LSU game, and I didn't realize it when we did the post game, but reading articles after, apparently LSU really pissed them off before the game and did some kind of childish stuff on there and fired them up. And I really felt Vanderbilt fired them up.
That's what I was going to say.
Them too.
I think you said going back to the chippiness of the Vandy game, it really kind of sparked something in this team. They came out and they, kind of kept rolling against LSU, and then they, of course, Will Wade is the biggest crybaby that there is, and how he is still coaching in college basketball with the things that he is on tape having done is beyond me. When there are other teams and coaches and situations that the NCAA has, come down on so hard, and there's glaring evidence of this, and he got suspended, 2 games?
That's the difference in leadership. I mean, still go back to it. Bruce Pearl has a barbecue and lies about it, and he's getting a show calls, and his assistants are getting a show calls. Will Wade blatantly gets caught cheating, 2 games and out. I mean, that's the difference in an admin with backbone compared to what Tennessee didn't.
Well, he got called into the ADs, to come in and talk to the AD at LSU. It didn't. He wouldn't go talk to him.
Well, I'm pretty sure that AD is gone because they had some issues from Les Miles that came back out too. So that was a win at all cost admin at that point. I'm not sure if their president and chancellor and all that's still the same or not, but the AD was definitely he was definitely win at all costs. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Is this all right? Fun fact: NCAA president LSU are family relatives. I'm definitely not doubting you, so that explains a lot. But Wade's not the only one. Bill Self has gotten proven that still coaching. The North Carolina, whatever the hell that was, they had that fake academic scandal. Nothing comes out of it. It's just. But we've talked about it with Jeremy Pruitt on there. If Jeremy Pruitt was winning, we would have never heard about that. Mark my word on it. That was the way out for him. And frankly, I should have just fired him and paid the buyout. It would have saved them a lot of grief on it because his performance warranted that. But, it just still to this day, Tennessee gets a top-notch coach like Pearl, and it's sour grapes a little bit. I'm upset with him over it. I don't necessarily want him back. But, I'd be crazy to say I wouldn't take him back. The guy's an awesome coach. But just seeing all this stuff and knowing what Pearl had to get a show cause and get let go for.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're Tennessee's admin at the time, you should have just taken the show calls and dealt with it because it was about the equivalent of probation the next couple of years was.
It's the NCAA is a joke. We've talked about it. Sticking with basketball, you look at Eros getting cleared to play. They basically burned over half a season for the kid to get him eligible. And there's been all kinds of. They say that they're a champion for the student athlete and this and that, but man, the NCAA is all about the money. Plain and simple. It's
if they were all about it, there's no consistency.
Yeah.
They're full of it. That's what it boils down to. Full of it. You can't let one school by with one thing and then, slap one school for, something major on the wrist and then, blast another team over something that should be a slap on the wrist. It's just there's no consistency, and hopefully all these schools break away from it at some point. I don't know what that will look like, but I think it's a matter of time. I don't think it's going to be a matter of if. I think it's going to be a matter of when. I don't know. Is that a couple years away? Is that 5 years away? Is it 10 years away? It's going to happen. It's going to have to. And frankly, it just seems like the NCAA, they don't have a clue with NIL. There's things you talked about with the student athlete. For the student athlete, why is this playoff not expanded? They keep coming up with excuses for that. I just get, it's going to be like the Roman Empire. It's going to fall. It's just a matter. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I'm really curious to see what that's going to do, though. Is that just going to be your Power 5 conferences getting out, or is it going to or are the mid-majors going to follow suit with them? It's going to make for a major sports story when it happens. We are looking at 116 people right now. Don't have a thumbs up count, but you know the drill, guys. If you haven't already, smash that thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, we would appreciate if you hit that subscribe button for all the latest notifications, any live shows. The only imminent shows we got right now, looks like Saturday night, Tennessee, Texas, 8 o'clock. Post-game show coming afterwards. Other than that, no football shows on the horizon. Had a cool show last Friday. If you've not gotten to check that one out, got to talk some NIL. Had James from Spire on to talk NIL. Pretty cool stuff there. We'll see what's coming up. Don't see anything right now, but if any kind of big news breaks, then, it will definitely warrant going live. And then you just getting ready to have something to say. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I'm trying to pull up. Got a couple of people talking about the deal after the game. There was, I guess it continued to be a little tense. Had a Florida player getting held back and actually kind of going towards the stands a little bit too. Let me see if I can pull that up here.
Hang on, I got a good response to that.
Yeah, like I said, Florida fans can be salty about the missed call, the blown call, but it's not near as bad as the Jabari Gaffney deal. So,
no, I mean, I don't blame him for being upset over that call tonight, no doubt about it. But that's part of my initial thought on it was that maybe the shooter had initiated the contact, but it was, they had a right to be upset about it. But, it is what it is. Wasn't the difference in the game.
No.
Those 3 free throws put some more in it, but, let's see here. Get out of here, man. Gonna make comments toward me. Get out of here. So let's see what else we got here. Next on the schedule, Texas. Texas is not ranked now. Let's see what they're looking like. Not really up to date on them. 24/7, man. They don't give a lot of good.
I've got that ready if you want to hit that real
for
quick.
Texas.
Yeah, or no, for after the Florida game.
Okay, let's pull this up here. Well, what happened? Somebody throw something at him, or
I don't know what set him off, but you had everybody chomping at him. So, I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
yeah, it is, and that's the emotions running high. Then I'm sure there was some chippy moments tonight, but yeah, Florida might as well face it. They're in Knoxville. I mean, even the year Grant and Schofield and those guys chomped the crowd. That's still, what a fantastic moment in Tennessee sports. Then it's just they're going to get chomped at. It's not going to change, and hopefully there'll be some chomping going on come football season as well. It's due at this point, but let's see. Tennessee does not play Florida again regular season wise, so they got their win over them, and then the only way they're going to see them again is if it's SEC tournament. Let's see. See what else we got here. Let's see. Anything I missed on the stat line? Pulling it up here. I mean, again, you got to be happy with the shooting performance tonight. I think the one thing is just those turnovers. 16 turnovers. Got to cut that down. Free throw shooting. That's what teams do. They finish it off with that kind of free throw shooting. And not a bad night. It wasn't beautiful. I wouldn't say I'm impressed or nothing, but I did like that they adjusted, and that seemed to make a big difference there.
Yeah, I mean, that had been a complaint even in some of the games they've won, was the lack of ability to make adjustments, either coming out of the half or even in game. We've criticized Barnes a number of times for letting it play out, and the team is floundering and looking lost on the floor. But tonight he seemingly made some adjustments and went with a bit of a different lineup. And when the game was going off the rails, they could have, the way it was going down. Largest lead was for Florida was 13. It easily could have, they could have packed it in and never recovered, but they didn't. Made the adjustments, scrapped back in, and at the end of the day, came away with an SEC win.
Yeah, I agree with that. They have some nerve after the cheap shot last year on Fulkerson.
Yeah.
Had it not been for COVID, that would have been his career on a cheap shot like that. And what happened to that guy? Nothing?
Nothing.
I can't remember. Did he get a half maybe?
I don't believe so.
He may not have. I can't remember on it, but it was.
He transferred out of Florida, I believe, as well.
Yeah. Mike White is indeed Danny White's brother. That's always an interesting kind of matchup right there. I mean, that's a family that it runs in their blood. What, 4 of them? Their dad was AD at Duke.
Yeah, sister coaches somewhere. A pedigree of college athletics. Just he knows the business. He's been around the business, grew up in the business. That's why I really like Danny White as the athletic director, because not only does he know the business side of it, which I think in today's age, this time, you've got to kind of have that acumen, and because it is such a business, but he seems to also have a handle of the student athlete side of it. You look at his comments when he came in, particularly around the football program. He wanted to meet with and leaders of the team, discuss with them what they were looking for in a coach. He seems to get the big picture. Look at what all he's done in terms of listening to the fans. Good stuff.
There was an interview with him on The Athletic. I subscribed that recently. I got a deal on it, subscribed to it. There was an interview with him on there about how some things are ahead of time, but he said there's some stuff like with the fundraising stuff. He said it's not necessarily innovative now, but there's things that are going well in Tennessee. There's all the stadiums, Neyland Stadium. I'm not sure he mentioned Thompson Bowling, Lindsey Nelson. They've got the pulse on those things about getting them updated. And, he talked about it too. He has inherited some good coaches, and it looks like he hired a good coach with football as well. So there is a nice collection of coaches. He gets it. He knows what's going on. And, I would venture to say, and it's still early, but I think it is safe to say that Danny White's probably the best AD that Tennessee's had since Doug Dickey.
I'd be hard to argue with you there.
I mean, you look at it with Mike Hamilton, the wheels come off under Mike Hamilton. And Dave Hart come in. I don't necessarily think everything Dave Hart did was bad, but there were just some real peculiar moves he made. And then it transitioned to oh crud. Wait to Wake Forest now. Curry? Was it Hart to Curry?
Yes.
I mean, we can say what we want, but Curry hired Tony Vitello. Pretty good hire. Pretty good hire. And then I guess Philip Fulmer's claim to fame was Kelly Harper right now. Other than that.
Big Phil was in attendance at the game tonight.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, saw him on the TV.
I'm sure he's
sitting with Heath Schuler.
Yeah, I'm sure his retirement clause paid for him to get in and get a nice seat tonight. So, Brandon, sometimes they're clowns like that. They don't know how to disagree without name calling. That's the childish thing that happens sometimes. We got people that, we can disagree on opinions, guys. It's so ignorant to get into name calling. So, if you want to get into that name calling stuff, that's fine. You call me what you want to, but, it's stupid. And, frankly, the guy that's doing it, I can ban your hind end, and I don't care to do it. Already put you in timeout. You want to make another comment, you're gone, man. So that's where we're at with it. You got anything else you want to add tonight, Dauber?
I don't.
That's a good way to go out. But
the only thing I ask, we love the chat. The chat's what drives this show and makes it what it is. But agree, disagree, do whatever, comment, but keep it civil, keep it respectable, and don't get personal. But
yeah, I mean, frankly, guys, I'm not on here to be liked. I give my opinion. Maybe it's not right. Maybe it is. You can tell me I know what I'm talking about. You can tell me I don't. I don't really care. I have my opinion. I've been around enough to know I'm going to give it. You don't like it, so be it. Feel free to disagree. I have no problem with it. But when we get to name calling, we've had some issues with that lately. And, people get upset for a reason over that. When you get called something, I get it. I get it. So hopefully, we can agree to disagree sometimes.
I disagree with you all the time. I'm not calling you names though.
Yeah, that's fine. I've been called a lot worse anyhow. So, but I think we're going to get out here on that one, guys. I hope you guys have a good Wednesday evening. We'll go out on this one. It's sports, guys. It's about sports, man. We all get in the heat of the moment. Sports is probably the most heated thing out there other than politics. And fortunately, we don't talk politics on there. But, sports is meant to be fun. Yes, we can agree to disagree. We can talk about it. we can say we feel this or that, but at the end of the day, it's sports. It's not putting a paycheck in my account, so to speak. But again, just kind of run it down. We'll be with you Saturday night.
Possibly for me.
I will say keep Dauber thoughts and prayers. Surgery Friday.
Friday.
Right?
Yep.
Hernia surgery Friday. Hope everything goes well there. If Dauber's laid up, I guess the guy doesn't know what he's talking about will come on here and try to see if he can put together a decent thought or two for him. But he's Dauber. I'm the Indy Kid. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Tennessee wins 78-71. We'll see you Saturday night. Hopefully I can find the closing here and go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.